Well, go on, everybody. Lennox here from S123 Trader. This is the Playbook Weekly Outlook for November 22nd to November 27th. I'll be looking at all the major futures uh, indices for Forex and some of the stocks as well. Okay, we'll start off with the Australian dollar. And of course, before I start, I'm hoping everybody's doing well and profitable week to everyone. Okay, so Australian dollar on the screen. I'm on the weekly time frame, and takeaway for this week looks like a lot of strength in the Australian dollar going into this week from last week, and we're we're at a resistance area though. That's the key takeaway. Okay, so and as you can see, it's pretty strong right across, right on our current price line. Right, so let's drop down to the daily and see what it's doing. And on the daily time frame, again, there's still lots of strength, but the key takeaway is that we're at a resistance area. So we could see some move to the upside. However, it might be tepid or in a little bit of a struggle before this plays out. But the overall direction is to the upside, and I would be looking for movements to the upside once price breaks through this little bit of uh, mess that it's in at this point. Okay, so I'm going to go to the 4 hour real quick, and again, still heading to the upside, but you can see that clearly that we're in a sideways type of mode at this point. All right, so a little tepid with the Australian dollar going into this week. Let's take a look at the Canadian dollar, and I'll go to the weekly on that one. And also similar, we're at a resistance area all the way across, but we had strength going into from last week, and we're getting strength again starting this week. And on the daily, we're still pushing to the upside, but again, we are still right at that resistance area, so there's going to be some struggle to get higher. But it looks like that's the trajectory is to the upside overall, and bearing any unforeseen, it looks like Canadian dollar sideways to up for the remainder of the week. Okay, let's take a look at the US dollar, and also start off on the weekly. And US dollar has been in a complete downtrend and looking very weak overall. And right now I see this move here that's taken us down. We're coming towards a support, but it looks like that's where we're going to be heading and breaking through. May not be this week, but it looks pretty weak overall for the US dollar going into the week. And right now, any pullback is just an opportunity for sells, because this is on its way to the downside all the way down. Okay, so even if I went to the 4 hour, I think you would still see yes, we might get a little push back up, but it's going to be short-lived, and price should be heading south, breaking these lows. Okay, let's take a look at the euro, and on the weekly time frame. Euro also has strength, but sitting at a very bogged up resistance area as well on the daily time frame. Right across the board, we're right at a resistance. So it's looking like it wants to push through. And again, it would be a little bit of a struggle. But if the US dollar falls, then we would expect this to break through these highs and continue to the upside. So it all depends. The key is, of course, the US dollar and how it moves. So again, US dollar moves totally opposite of what the euro does. So that would be the two keys to this week. Okay, so that's the euro. Let's take a look at the Swiss franc. Okay, been again very strong to the upside. We had quite a red bar a couple weeks ago, but we had some indecision last week, and now it's looking like it wants to push to the upside. We go to the daily, it's pushing to the upside right now. Okay, but again, we're in a very congested area. Like all the pairs we've looked at now so far, all these currencies we looked at, and the U.S. dollar are in a kind of a congested mode. but looking to push and break to the upside for the Swiss franc, and it's slowly edging its way up, and that's what I would expect, further moves to the upside. Okay, and looking at at the structure here, that would be the trajectory I would be looking at. Okay, take a look at gold, and on the weekly for gold. Um, okay, we're still in this type of a triangle. And now we're at the bottom of the triangle, so we've hit the support area. Are we ready to bounce back up, or are we going to break through to the downside? Would be the key takeaway question here. Dropping to the daily, we get a better look, and you can see again that we're now hitting that support. Looking like it wants to bounce at this point, but this huge red bar here was quite of a flag. Um, it's trying very hard right now to push back up, but we're in a pretty big downward mode here. So you have to be care has to be taken here, and not to jump the gun on this. Let's see on the 4 hour. Okay, again we hit the support area, and it's an area. Everybody has to be aware this is an area. It's not just a line. So this whole area is support. We've hit it. We're bouncing off, and we could push back up to the resistance area in the short term, and that's what I would be expecting, at least in the short term. So overall, here, where it goes from here, it has two options. It can drop back, three options actually. It can drop down, it can go sideways, or it can go straight back up again after this coming back into the middle. Okay, so we're just looking at this point here for gold. I'm looking at a move to the previous resistance for this week. Okay, let's take a look at the Japanese yen, also on the weekly. And the Japanese yen, lots of strength. A big, huge downer a couple of weeks ago, but now it's pushing back up again. And on the daily time frame, very strong move to the upside here. Looking pretty good there. And on the 4 hour time frame, you can see, yes, we're right now just coming through a little bit of a struggle area, but it looks like we should break through and continue to the upside for this week in the Japanese yen. Okay, let's take a look at the New Zealand dollar on the weekly time frame, and lots of strength in the New Zealand right now, but we're right at resistance. Okay, big huge resistance area here. Okay, so on the weekly, we have a big strong move, so we could get some sideways movement here before it goes again. So if we go a little closer, let's take a look from the daily. Right now, you can see we've got a red candle pointing us down, so we could get a little bit of a turnaround, a little pullback on that. And let's go to the 4 hour, and that could be exactly what's setting up right now. That we're indeed coming back down. How far down? Maybe just a retrace of this move, so somewhere back down into this area before we bounce again and continue to the upside. So that's totally possible at this point. Okay. Let's take a look at the Mexican peso for the week. Okay, Mexican peso on the weekly, very strong, very strong. Okay, so on the daily, still really strong, really pushing to the upside. Now the weakness in the US dollar, of course, is giving this more impetus to go. We're touching a resistance, so back here, but it looks like we should be slicing through that this week to the upside. Okay. Let's take a look at the British pound on the weekly. Okay, British pound also has lots of strength, but again, we're right on the resistance line. It's just amazing. Again, this is the line, but it's also an area. Okay, so we're right in that zone, and will we break through and continue pushing to the upside? Based on what I'm seeing here, it looks very strong, like we're going to be heading north in quite a hurry with the British pound, and there it's looking really strong on the daily, on the 4 hour time frame. So for the remainder of the week, I just see strength in in the British pound to the upside here. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the US 30, the Dow Jones Industrial. So right now we're again at a resistance, a lot of resistance here this week, and looking to push through to the upside. You can see that we still have some moves to go. However, we could pull back a little bit first. That's totally possible for a pullback in the short term before we continue. But let's go down to the 4-hour and take a closer look and see what's really going on. And you can see that we're, it's a little bit sideways. And here's that support area here. So we indeed could drop down one more time before we go. That would be the kind of possibility at this point, or we could just continue going straight up. But right now it looks like maybe possibly a drop back down before we go again. Okay. All right, US the S&P 500, taking a look at that one on the weekly. Also right at a congested area, and again looking to push to the upside. On the daily, we're looking to push to the upside. We're still at that resistance area, and let's take a closer look on the 4-hour. And you see it's similar to the US dollar. So there's a support area here, and again it's an area, and I could see this dropping down one more time before we get that move to the upside here. Okay, so similar to the US, the Dow 30, this similar setup to the upside. Okay, so that is a look at all the only one I don't have on here is which I should have on here actually, is the Russell. So Russell 2000 futures. See if I can get the Russell 2000 futures on here. The Russell 2000. This is an ETF. I've not seen a futures of it. There it is. There's the futures for it. I thought I had it on here actually. I'm not sure why it's not there, but I'll put that on. So just a quick look at the Russell. The Russell's a little different than the other two. So you can see the Russell has broken through that resistance area, and is clearly very strong to the upside. So the small to mid cap companies, what it's telling us here, are really strong at this time, and so I would look for continued strength in the small to mid cap companies going into this week, and looking very strong. We're at a small resistance area, but it looks like it should push through no problems. All right, so that's a look at what's setting up for this week, and just again, if you're playing the Forex, keep your eye on the US dollar. That's the key to most of the major pair moves, and profitable trading to everyone. I'm done now. Be safe. Thank you.